Worksheet 14, quadratic equation. All right, so the quadratic equation, or the quadratic formula, is this thing. I know you've seen it before. Do you remember earlier we had x equals minus b over 2a? And that was where we used that formula to find the line of symmetry for a vertex, for a parabola. So we use that to find x, and then this part, so that's the minus b over 2a part, that finds the center, and this plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac tells you how far we have to add or subtract to find the zeros of the parabola. So that's what we're going to find, is the zeros. So first thing is, it has to be in standard form. And it has to be equal to 0 for this to work. So it's got to be in the form 0 equals ax squared plus bx plus c. So we use, once we have it in, like this one's in that form, this one's not. I'm going to actually have to move some things around to get it into that form to be able to tell what a, b, and c are. Once you do that, you find out what a, b, and c are. So a, in this case, is what's in front of the x squared, which is a 1. B is what's in front of the x. And C is the constant, which is -7. Then you take this and you put it in the formula. So, a couple of ways you can do this. I'm going to go x equals, and you can just write it. Some people like to go ahead and just write the formula with parentheses instead of the variables. I may end up a little too small here. Let's see. And then fill in all the parentheses. So this one is b. So b is 8. This is also b from the formula, b minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. All right, the next step is we're going to simplify these three parts here. So -8 plus and minus. Simplify this. I'm going to go ahead and use a calculator for that, depending on how good your arithmetic is. Thing you have to be careful of, though, is if this is negative, which it's not right now, but if this was negative, you'd really want to put it in those parentheses. Otherwise, it's going to do things in the wrong order. So 8 squared minus 4, this part doesn't really matter as much, times 1 times -7. So we get 92 here. And 2 times 1 is 2. So now we have two different problems here. -8 plus square root of 92 over 2, and -8, I'm going to run out of room, -8 minus the square root of 92 all over 2. So to do this in the calculator, you're going to do it in parts. So -8 plus the square root of 92. And then you're going to hit equals. If you do the divide, it's not going to divide both of them. So you're going to hit equal to get an answer and then divide by 2. So x equals 0.80 as I round that. And then I'm going to do the same thing with minus. -8 minus the square root of 92. And I'm going to hit enter and then divide by 2. So it also equals going to do this with brackets so I can do a list. Negative 8.80. So those are my two answers. So if I go and I put this in the calculator, and I have 0 equals x squared plus 8x minus 7, and I look at my graph, there's my two answers. If we use this other method, second, calculate, intersect is 5, enter, enter. This one's around 1. I get my negative 0.795. Second, calculate, intersect is 5, enter, enter. And somewhere around negative 8, I get my negative 8.79, rounded to negative 8.80. Okay, so you could find the answers this way. I would like you to be able to set these up at least. If you then want to find the answer this way, that's okay. But you do need to be able to set them up and simplify them. So this one has a couple things going on. So in this case, this is not in this form. So we're going to get all of these on one side. And it wouldn't matter. I could go minus 2x squared over here, or I can move these over to the other way. I think I'm going to do that. So plus 4x and minus 8. So basically, I just move it over and change the sign, and all that cancels, so that's equal to 0. So now I'm in the form I need. So hold on one second here. So A equals 2, B equals 4, and C equals negative 8. So we plug it into our equation. I'm going to erase something here just to give me more room. I'm going to go ahead and erase this. Okay, just to give us a little more room. So now we're going to write the equation. So x equals negative b, which is 4, plus and minus square root of b squared, which is 4 again, minus 4 times a times c, all over 2 times a. Not too bad. Let's simplify this. So x equals negative 4 plus and minus. So what does this end up being? Um, 4 squared minus 4 times 2 times negative 8. So that's 80, square root of 80, all over 4. Okay, so we can go ahead and just solve this. So I'm just going to, I'm not going to write it all down again. I'm just going to figure out what they equal. Excuse me. So we go, first of all, I'm going to, well, all right, negative 4 plus the square root of 80. And remember, I'm going to hit enter and then divide by 4. So one answer is 1.24. Then I'm going to do negative 4 minus the square root of 80. Hit enter and then divide by 4. And I get negative 3.24 when I round it. Alright, so this video is already 10 minutes long, so I'm going to go ahead and end it off here. I know that was a lot of talking, Well, actually, you know what? I'm going to do one more. I am going to go ahead and do one more just so you see this other type of problem. So this one already is in the right form. So we need A, B, C, A, B, and C. So A is 3, B is 4, and C is 1. So our formula is negative B plus or minus the square root of B squared minus 4 times A times C, all over 2 times A. So we're going to simplify that. So negative 4, this is x equals, x equals negative 4 plus and minus, and do this part under the square root, which actually has a name. It's called the discriminant. So 4 squared minus 4 times A times C and we get 4 all over 6. This was not the problem I thought it was, but that's okay. So here we go. So this one's pretty simple. Square root of 4, we know it's 2. So we have two problems here. Negative 4 plus 2 over 6 and negative 4 minus 2 over 6. And we can simplify those. So 2 over 6, negative 2 over 6, and negative 6 over 6, which is negative 1/3 and negative 1. Or you could just put those in the calculator, even from there. Negative 4 plus square root of 4 inner divide by 6. And there's my negative 1/3. And same thing, negative 4 minus square root of 4 over 6, and you'll get negative 1. Okay, I will end this one. There is something different that's going to happen on these other ones, so please do watch the other video.